Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very exciting news update video for Marvel Spider-Man 2. Despite it being confirmed that Marvel Spider-Man 2 will not be the cover story for Game Informer earlier this week, there was still a lot of good news that came out of this week, and we're going to break it all down for you. But first, if you're new to the channel, we would love to have you. As always, the way to do that, just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. It'll notify you every single time that Andreas and I upload. Now with that out of the way, Andreas, let's break down some good news for once.
Yeah, let's do this, guys.
All right, Andreas, so there was a lot of disappointment in the community this week after it was confirmed that Marvel Spider-Man 2 would not be the cover story for September when it comes to Game Informer. A lot of people were wondering what exactly the marketing strategy that Insomniac and Sony was going to use going forward, and this is something that you and I have sat down and talked about what we think they were going to do. However, we might have gotten some insight today about what exactly Insomniac could be doing for marketing for this game.
That's absolutely right, Nick. If you guys have seen on Twitter, Insomniac Games today posted about a collaboration playthrough that they were going to be doing on Insomniac Live with Sea of Stars, and an individual on Twitter replied to this announcement tweet asking, how about you showcase more Spider-Man 2? And this is obviously one of those comments that ordinarily game dev would not reply to, but whoever's at the helm over at the Insomniac Games Twitter account replied to this tweet saying, hang tight for news, and a smiley face. And, you know, this is in and of itself very exciting because it is kind of negating that worry that Insomniac is asleep at the wheel when it comes to marketing. We've seen these memes come up just comparing the marketing timeline from Spider-Man PS4 and Spider-Man 2 and how Spider-Man 2 hasn't had nearly as much marketing. But I think this really does go to show in the first place that there will be a marketing ramp up for a variety of reasons that we can get into. But also beyond that tweet, Nick, we also got a second tweet where someone replied to Insomniac's tweet asking how tight we gotta hang for and how long. And again, this is one of those comments you wouldn't expect Insomniac to reply to, but they kind of in a tongue-in-cheek fashion replied saying, can't reveal when we'll drop news specifically, so the best I can offer is between now and October 20th. So not a very helpful response, but certainly I think this is Insomniac just stoking the flames of excitement here. And lightning didn't just strike twice today. We actually got a third tweet from Insomniac where someone asked, are you able to confirm if we'll be seeing anything new from Spider-Man before launch? And Insomniac replied, we'll have something new before launch. Yeah, so this is a confirmation that we will be receiving some more Insomniac Games news about Spider-Man 2 before release date. So for those of you who were really thinking doom and gloom this week with the whole, Assassin's Creed Mirage situation that's going on, I don't think it's time to really worry. I think Insomniac is going to come in clutch with some marketing, hopefully something that really does stoke the flames of excitement, because there's reason to stay excited, right?
Yeah, there really is, and it's not surprising that we are going to be getting stuff before launch. I think this is something that we've all reasonably expected. I think it was just surprising that Insomniac Games went ahead and confirmed it today on Twitter in these replies that we will be getting something before launch. And I know from our conversations, Andreas, after we sat down and talked about, well, what could they do next after the cover story reveal? And one thing that we were kind of thinking of is maybe they would wait until Starfield's hype kind of dies down. Right now, this is the week of Starfield. This is Xbox big exclusive. It would be kind of weird to ramp up marketing for a big exclusive game when all of the spotlight is going to be on Starfield and Microsoft. So they might just be waiting for that. And guys, there's still almost 2 months left before the release of this game. There's plenty of time for them to ramp up marketing and do a full-fledged marketing campaign. And like you said, Andreas, a lot of people yesterday were complaining, or this week are complaining about the fact that this is a completely different marketing campaign than the way they handled Marvel Spider-Man. They're not doing as much. Well, simply put, they don't need to. This is not an apples to apples comparison. Marvel Spider-Man 1 was where they were trying to launch a brand new franchise on the PlayStation. They were trying to launch a new Spider-Man franchise. They needed to do marketing for stuff like that. And now this franchise has been one of the best-selling franchises on the entirety of PlayStation. Simply put, they don't need to do a huge marketing push for Marvel Spider-Man 2 because people are already incredibly excited. People are already going to buy this game, and it is going to sell incredibly well, so they don't need a massive marketing budget for this. Honestly, anything we get at this point is just them throwing us a bone. They don't have to do it from a marketing standpoint. So, it is incredibly exciting to see, though, that they are going to still be doing stuff before launch. And to be honest with you, Andres, I'm expecting this to probably be where those suit pre-order gameplay snippets that they had talked about earlier in the summer, that's probably the most likely thing that's going to come out of this if they do something like that. And then there will probably be like the launch trailer that every PlayStation exclusive gets. I don't think they're going to do anything significant or massive. I think it will be more of those kind of mid to smaller level things for the rest of this cycle going into late October, just because they don't really have to. However, this is not the only exciting thing that we got for Marvel Spider-Man 2 this week. As you guys, or most of you guys know, the consoles, the covers, the controllers, they are starting to go out into the wild, into the public, and we actually got some information about the size of Marvel Spider-Man 2. And according to the art on the back of the console box, this game has a minimum download requirement of 98 gigabytes, which is, Andreas, a pretty substantial size.
Yeah, it is. And I think if we compare it to, some other really big AAA titles for Sony, I'm looking directly at Horizon Forbidden West, because Horizon Forbidden West had a near identical file size of 98 gigabytes. And so that is a game that we're also talking about, this very massive, high fidelity open world. If you guys have had the privilege to play through Forbidden West, you will know how incredibly large and how incredibly detailed and how much content is packed into that game. There's just so many side quests and things to do, and it kind of gets me thinking that this game is going to be at least of that caliber. And I know file size is not the be-all, end-all when it comes to determining how much is in a game, because there's a lot of things that go into the file size, like how are they compressing it, what sort of textures are they using, how are they managing their file size in general. And there are some big games that I'm looking at, like I'm thinking of recent Call of Duty titles. It's in no way indicative of how much content is packed into those games. But I think with the emphasis that PlayStation and Sony places on compressing their titles, when you take that into consideration with this file size, and then you look at similarly sized Sony titles such as Horizon, this is a reason to be excited, and it just is another data point to confirm that this game is going to be packed with some great content. It is going to be a massive open world, and it is going to be a super high fidelity project.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. And another great data point to look at is, how does this compare to the previous titles, Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales? If you take a look at that, when Marvel Spider-Man released on PS4, it came in at 45 gigabytes. And then when that was remastered, that actually jumped up to 71 gigabytes on the PS5. And Miles Morales on PS5 came in right around that 54 gigabyte size. So when you compare this minimum download size to the rest of the franchise, it is at minimum 20 plus gigabytes bigger already. This is going to be a massive game. Now, of course, like you said, this could be higher textures. It could be worse compression size. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into these file sizes. But what this just tells me is that we're getting higher fidelity. We're getting a bigger game. Like, all of the stuff that they said, here is the data to back up that fact. And this is incredibly exciting because this is just right now. There is the opportunity for them to add on to that file size throughout the next 2 months when they're fine-tuning things, or the fidelity goes up a little more, or if they change things here. Like, this file size is going to change over the next few months, and I'm very interested to see where it actually settles in once this game is released in late October. But guys, Lots of exciting stuff. We're getting close. We're about 50-ish days away from the release of Marvel Spider-Man 2, and now we have confirmation from Insomniac that there will at least be one thing or a couple things to look forward to before the launch of this game. The marketing for this game is not dead, so for those of you who were worried about that for some reason, don't be worried about that. Insomniac's got our back, so be on the lookout for that, hopefully sooner rather than later. But let us know down below in the comments, what do you think they are going to show off when they do decide to show something? And what do you think of the file size? Do you think this just proves that this is going to be a massive game, or does it prove that the fidelity of this game is going to be crazy, or do you think this is just poor compression on their part? I have a feeling I know which two it is most likely to be, but let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for us for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.